G'day jabronis, it is the Verd, back with you again. Welcome here to a week 3 team builder of sorts against Dan or Danaki and the Cincinatti Slifer Reds. Have no idea if I spelled that name right, could not care less. I'm pretty tired, but I've been joining him unintentionally. Life's just kind of come first. I need to build a team, and I'm probably not going to be able to get any mocks for this battle. So what I'm going to do is kind of just do a live team build instead for you guys, so kind of understand my team building process. We're going to go in and out of the NPL documento, only seeing the overview of the team, so not spoiling anything else for you guys. But we're basically going to build my entire team. Well, I'm going to build my entire team in a full live recording. I'm hoping this only takes like half an hour to 45 minutes to do. Shouldn't take too long at all. May take me like 5 minutes just to get the basic mons that I want to use down, and then it's just a lot of time sorting out calcs and all that other jazz. So let's crack into this. First and foremost, let's have a look at the matchup. Should be pulled up here on the dock. I just want to make sure my dimensions can cover everything, which they do now. So as you can see, Dan's got a pretty scary lineup. Zygarde's going to be a very frustrating thing to deal with on my team. My best check to it is like Gliscor, which doesn't really help. Offensively speaking, I have a lot, and I think the way that I beat Zygarde in this matchup is just with a lot of offensive pressure over anything else. Mega Sizzle obviously has to fear things like Blaziken and Gliscor as well, since Mega Sizzle can't be packing Mega Sizzle can't be packing the natural gift Ice. Hooper's obviously a huge threat. Fortunately, I do have things like Hydreigon and Mega Diancie, which can mitigate it, as well as a Raquan to an extent, but Psyshock is the thing. First thing I kind of want to do when it comes to Dan's team is I want to highlight like the key issues that I feel I'm going to have in this matchup and how I'm going to deal with them. So the first issue that I really want to highlight is the potential for Dan to bring webs. Webs could be annoying with Ribombee, and all it really means is that I'm probably, I was going to bring it regardless because in this matchup it looks so strong, but the first Pokemon that is being brought is Mega Diancie. 100% DDP's got to be here for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the main reason is that it is a very good check to Hooper Unbound. Prevents it from being like just something that runs through my team. It also is just a good offensive pressure to that Ribombee, and to ensure that we are able to deal with Ribombee, we're going to have Mega Evolve plus Protect. That means we can switch in against Ribombee if need be, and be able to prevent those webs hopefully from going up. You could have HP Steel. I'm not going to go too, definitely one thing I'd like to have too is just Moonblast. It's so spammable. I believe I want Diamond Storm here, because what I can do is set up my Diancie in a way to where after a Diamond Storm boost I could design it to be able to live a Sizzle's Bullet Punch from Adamant and then be able to knock it out. So we're going to have a look at that now in the calculator, as you guys can see here. So let's chuck in just a Mega Diancie set. Let's just go with a light attacker just to kind of scout what we're going to be up against. And we're going to type in Mega Sizzle. Let's go with SD. Sure, that's Adamant. I'm going to go with Adamant Max Attack just to really gauge the damage we want to see. So Bullet Punch is doing 204 to 240. Now if we go +2 defense, that's a negative defense to Diancie, that's why it's doing so much. My dog is barking, which is not helping. We can definitely design this in a way to be able to take it, I believe. It shouldn't take too much investment. First thing I actually want to highlight is what speed Diancie needs to hit in this matchup, as it will speed tire with Frostlass. It needs to be timid to outspeed Shaman and Zygarde, I believe. It will just miss out on outspeeding Zygarde if it is modest. I believe that actually does outspeed Zygarde, which is tempting to it is very tempting. The only downside is it's probably going to force me to run a Spadef lowering nature, but I technically could get away with it because Well, it means I'm not as much of a counter to Rabombi, which sucks. So I'm thinking the safe play is just, what am I lowering? That's going to be a tough question. I think I might actually have to lower attack. As silly as it sounds, Diamond Storm will still do a very good chunk to everything. Now I could get away with that, but it means they can't run any bulk, so that's not ideal. We need the bulk in this matchup. So speed wise, I think we will creep. I feel like Frost Ice doesn't come because there's enough on my team to pressure it, so I'm gonna creep. What was the next closest thing? I believe it was the Shaman. I probably should speed creep Manaphy, just in case actually. Manaphy hits 328, so we can hit 300 and I believe, can we hit 29? We can't, we hit 330. So that's 80 investment straight off the bat we can put into defense. So how much does that 80 investment matter? It matters a lot. It means that Bullet Punch, if we get the boost, is only a 6.3% chance to kill. So now what I would do is just add on 4 every time and just see when we get to a magic number of mitigated damage, really. So let's try 112. There we go. So 112 looks good. There's 108. Not good. So 112 is the magic number we can go with. So with 112 defensive investment, that also means we have to remove a bit from special attack, but with this spread on Diancie, it means that Megas, or if it is Adamant, max attack, and we have a Diamond Storm boost up, cannot knock us out. Maggie is being awfully loud, so I'm going to try and close this so she's not too loud. I think I just knocked my microphone, apologies for that. So, that's one set out of the way already. Really solid set. Definitely could have run rocks on this too, but I feel like Protect is really important. And that defensive bulk is going to be really important for the Sizzle 2. Prevents it from just coming in for free. I could potentially punish it. At the same time, I could run sub on this set too, over Protect, but I kind of just like leading with this thing and protecting most of the time. Moving on from this though, I guess we have to look at another offensive mon that can really benefit from being on this team. And the first one that really came to mind for me was Hydreigon. Because it naturally outspeeds Zygarde and puts a lot of pressure on his team, and Rabombi can come in against it, but it doesn't really want to. I do like Hydreigon in this matchup. I don't know exactly what set. I'm just going to keep on moving through them because I don't want to waste too much time babbling on about each mon. What's his Gengar check? Potentially a Scarfed Hooper. Miltank isn't really in check. Don't really think Gerd is a check either. Last time I checked anyway. So I think Gengar again is another mon that just, and like it's another week where Gengar just has such a strong matchup. It's really hard to resist bringing it again. Definitely going to be a solid mon here. How do I feel about Necrozma? The issue with Necrozma is its speed. Hooper hits base 80, I believe Necrozma is base 79, which means Hooper will always outspeed it. Even if I try and I could run a Rock Polish set again, but I just don't think it has breaking potential here. I'm just trying to think of the moves that I'd have to run. Heat Wave, Power Gem, and a Psychic move. Could do something. I mean, Z Psychic just. Yeah, but if I run Heat Wave plus Power Gem, do I really need Power Gem in this matchup? I can hit Rabombi with a Psychic move hard, 7 with Rotom Heat, so I could run a Bug move. So Necrozma could do something here. It just depends. What kind of Bug moves do you get? Do you get Signal Beam? You do. Would I run on X's or in like an offensive set? Well, that's a risk. That's also a risk. Kind of would prefer the special set, but like I'm investing in a lot of special attackers here, so we may keep this on the back burner. I'm gonna delete this, but definitely the one I want to bring is Ferrothorn. He has a Manaphy, and what this does with Ferrothorn is it forces Manaphy what I'm actually going to bring is a combination of Ferrothorn plus Araquanid. The reason why I want to bring the combination of these two mons is it means that there's not really a Manaphy set that Dan can bring that takes advantage of both of them, which I think is really, really solid. The last Pokemon I think I want to bring is Gliscor. Do I want to bring Xurkitree? See, Xurkitree's tempting because a subset could be very good. Because I could run sub with Dazzling Gleam, which covers a lot of Pokemon. And then I could run for the Rotom Heat. You know, run something. Do I? Do I need to run something for the Rotom Heat? If I'm sub Carmine, the only way he breaks my sub is Overheat, and then I just get up another sub. Bombi can break through it with the sound move, then I just kill it. And he doesn't have a lot of checks for that set. It's definitely the cogs are turning on this set. I don't know if I want to... What am I dropping? Guess Gengar? Yeah, guess Gengar. Reason for dropping Gengar too is just a bit too susceptible, I think, overall. So we're going to run lefties with the Beast Boost. We're going to run sub Carmine, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt. I don't see any reason not to. That basically covers everything on his team, and there's not much he can really do to stop it. And then I think definitely the last Pokemon I want to bring is Gliscor, 100%. Yeah, this is the team I feel most happy with, in my opinion. That Zerk set is going to be really, really good. Araquanid can go for my own webs potentially to either force him to defog. Could also bring Spike Stack on Pharaoh basically to say that yeah, you can set up webs, but I have ways around it, I suppose. I also wish there was a way that I could use Araquanid to 1v1 Manaphy. But I don't think there is. I could definitely Infestate. That's the thing, like, you can always just rest. That's the only downside. So I might like lift it. Because if it was up to me, I'd probably just not run Araquanid at all. I could just run Gengar instead. Because Araquanid, if you look back at the matchup, presence-wise, it's pretty good. To an extent, I feel that it can pressure a lot of things, for sure, but a lot of things can really just punch through it. And I feel like Gengar can just do a bit more in the matchup overall. So yeah, if I'm going to choose a 6, I'm feeling like these. Blaziken is a pretty big omission given how big of a threat Sizzle is. However, what I'm going to do is design a lot of this team with a way to kind of counteract that, if it makes sense, at least. Gliscor needs to have Stealth Rocks in this matchup. It's just no question. Or whether it needs to have them or not, it definitely needs to have Roost. And it definitely needs Taunt. Those moves are crucial. Taunt is incredibly crucial for the matchup against the Zygarde. And what I'm going to do is probably creep Gliscor to Zygarde. I'm assuming, knowing Dan, he's going to run an Adamant Zygarde with enough speed to where after he DDs, he's going to be able to outspeed something, or potentially enough speed investment to where he will outspeed, say, like a Scarf Xurkitree. So what I want to do is then have my Gliscor creep that, and then I can just taunt him 100% and basically wall him from there. This is also really nice for the Sizzle. The Sizzle then can't really do much against the Gliscor in that situation. And I think the most universal move, because realistically the issue with Gliscor here is obviously if I run Earthquake, it means I can't touch the Rotom, which is obviously a problem. But at the end of the day, I think it's worth the risk if I can get those rocks up and put a little pressure on, or Alternatively, I put the rocks onto Ferrothorn, and then instead Gliscor can run Toxic in that slot, which will allow me to obviously kind of just deal with everything on Dan's team really solidly. I kind of prefer that, yeah. I like that a lot. So, let's break this down. So, if I am a Zygarde, I'm just going to quickly show it with Xurkitree speed here. I believe that Dan is going to hit 292 on his Zygarde. So, I am going to be running a Jolly Nature, I believe, at least. Definitely didn't type in Impish, I'll tell you that now. I need to hit 293. Yep, 293. I want to put maximum into defense and then the rest in HP. Put 88 in there. 40. Okay. Reason for this is because obviously this is designed to take hits from Zygarde and kind of 1v1 it in that situation, as well as being able to cover other physically offensive mons that you might have. This even can take a hit probably from Kabutox because of how bulky it is. Mega Scizor especially, it's designed to kind of 1v1 too, so pretty important there. So Gliscor's name is Page. 16 minutes in, this is going pretty well. So we have 3 very established sets of the Xurkitree. How am I designing this? Because I know that he's probably going to run enough speed on Zygarde. I think the way I want to design this Xurkitree is... Actually, this is something I should calc, and this is an important thing to calc, because obviously I'm running Gleam because it covers Hooper as well as Zygarde. But what I should be calculating right now, guys, is what the damage difference is between Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam to a Hooper Unbound. You might think it's like a silly thing to have to think about, but it could be really important in the game. So we are going to compare Dazzling Gleam to Thunderbolt. 1 stab, 1 super effective, so there's a big difference there. Well, it's only 9 damage different. How important is that going to be? Say if he's like no bulk Hooper, and I was running max special attack and I got to +1. That's like dead after rocks. That's the thing. That's the thing. And realistically, I probably do want to creep Hooper in this scenario. If he's not Scarfed, then being able to outspeed it is pretty big. I would like to be able to run more bulk. Believe in you and me, I would love to be able to run more bulk, but realistically I need to be able to handle his threats immediately. So Hooper's max speed that it can hit there is 284. So Xurkitree is going to be hitting 285 speed. Or 286 I believe in this scenario. Which gives me 24 investment that I'm going to put into my Spadef, just so when those Carmines go off, it can be a lot more solid, I think, in the long run. Yeah, it's hard because the other thing too that I would like to do with this set, if I'm being perfectly honest, is I would actually love to remove all the special attack and invest more into Xurkitree's bulk. I'm going to get to that later. I don't want to tilt with that windmill right now. I want to look at my Hydreigon. Also, when it comes to the Gengar, I'm just very tempted to run Specs because Dan switching would be Miltank potentially. Maybe not Specs. Life Orb looks just so good. It could be Colbur Tank, not Colbur. Chople Tank with Thunder Wave. Then I could just run Lum Gengar if I really wanted to bypass anything like that. Or I could just run Sub. I mean, the fear is, like, I could just run Sub Disable Gengar here, but the problem with that isn't, like, the move coverage. Do I run Shadow Ball plus Focus Blast and that's it? In this situation, could be really solid, because obviously both do incredible damage at the same time if I go for sub and he has EQ, I can just go for Willow, and then Miltank's kind of weakened. So I'm feeling like maybe a Shadow Ball, Focus Blast for sure, because of that Miltank. It's going to be an annoying one to deal with for sure. The thing too is that like Diane's obviously someone that can come in against Miltank and just Magic Guard away, or Magic Bounce away the T-Wave, or I could just go hard Ferrothorn that he probably is aware of. So I have to wait and see what bug moves does Gengar get. Infestation, cool. Infestation could be interesting actually if Miltank is his designated switch-in to Gengar. There's no way, unfortunately, Xurkitree doesn't have enough of an HP stat to be able to get to that perfect number. As you can see, just misses out on being able to not be broken by Toss. But would he bring Toss against a guy with a Gengar? I don't know. Gliscor also just comes in pretty freely on Miltank a lot of the time. Does Gengar get Encore? It does not. Wait, there was a move that Gengar got that I forgot that it had. And I remember seeing it, and I remember like, when I get the chance, I want to bring this set. I do like the premise of Infestation with Perish Song. I do like that a lot. The question is, how viable is that set and how much can it backfire on me? Because it comes down to how much am I going to use Gengar as a breaker, or how much can I use Gengar to trap and kill things on Dan's team. Because I could run Infestation, Perish Song, Protect and Disable. And that could be pretty devastating against his team. He doesn't really have a lot for that actually. If Miltank comes in, I'm pretty sure it just dies. You know what, fuck it. If we can get away with this, if it's actually legal, yeah, it'd be pretty funny to use, I think. Because you can't switch out due to Infestation. And disable with Black Sludge. Now, the issue with this set, and it's the reason why I'm a bit iffy on using it, right? The issue with this set is it makes Gengar completely vulnerable to things like SD Scissor, which I don't really have a lot of ways to deal with, so I'm thinking this is a bad idea. Although this is a cool concept, I'm thinking overall it's a bad idea. So what I'd like to do, I think, is I definitely want to run Shadow Ball. Definitely need Focus Blast. From there though, this is where we can kind of be creative. I think Willow is definitely something I want to bring. There's a Scissor on that team. I need to be able to wear that thing now. Unfortunately, Gengar doesn't get Magic Coat. It does get Mimic. So theoretically, I could lead with Gengar against a Ribombee, and I could Mimic the Sticky Webs. That's interesting. What else do I like? Taunt is an option. Trick is an interesting option, given that I could trick away a Black Sludge, which would then start to weaken certain mons on his team. Icy Wind makes a lot of sense for the Zygarde, for sure. Hypnosis is a thing. Natural Gift is pretty dope. What's the move? I swear I was going through here and I saw it and I'm like, damn, I did not realize Gengar got this. Let me quickly just go through again. Let's see what it was. Probably gonna hear my mouse, but okay. Snatch is only on support moves, which means that it won't steal webs. Skill Swap could be decent, but not in this matchup. Same with Roleplay. Reflect type, that's what it was. So Reflect type Gengar is interesting. It's very, very interesting because in certain situations it can actually be really frustrating for Dan. I just don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. Is that worth it? That could be amazing. Guys, I'm thinking on my feet, and I'm thinking of something pretty stupid. But I think using my dingo brain, it could actually work, which is the thing. Dan knows that Gengar does not get access to Signal Beam, which means my best way of hitting a Hooper is going to be Hidden Power Bug. Which you might think, but Verd, that's going to do like oodles of damage, because Gengar is just such a strong boy. I mean, not wrong. He's going to do how much with a Life Orb to a Hooper about? It's going to knock it the fuck out. I was going to run Natural Gift, but seeing this damage makes me question everything I live for. We are going to run Hidden Power Bug. And I believe the item I want is Colbur. The reason I want Colbur is a couple of reasons why. If I preserve Ferrothorn and Hydreigon, there is more of a chance of a Scarfed Hooper clicking a Dark move than there is of him clicking a Psychic move. Reason being is it's more universally hitting my team. If he kills Gengar with a Psychic move, then I can take advantage. Also, against the Scizor, its best move to hit me with is going to be Knock Off. I can eat that up with a Colbur Berry, get off that Willow. That's going to be huge. Overall, it's just probably the most solid move I can give it. Speed-wise, again, I could creep the Frostlass, but I'm probably going to bring a Scarfed Hydreigon, so I'm not going to care about the Frostlass that badly. Plus, Zerk can take a hit if it needs to. Diancie can take a hit, so not too concerned by Frostlass. At the same time, do I need to invest anywhere in Gengar? I don't think so. I think I'm kind of fine just creeping where Frostlass is, just keeping it max, because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I could be completely wrong about Frostlass here. What speed does Frostlass hit? 110, yeah, so. That's the thing, I'd rather just speed type with Frostlass in case it goes on a tear, I suppose. Curse Body could also come in really handy here. But yeah, I'm liking this set a lot. Love to be able to run Sucker Punch again, but it's just not going to be worth it. That coverage is just so solid. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 sets done. And we've almost reached the half-hour point, so should be able to wrap this up pretty soon. So Ferrothorn is going to take a bit of time to work out defensive calcs. So I'm going to move on to Hydreigon. Now I believe the best set for Hydreigon in this matchup is Scarf. Reason being is it gives me an immediate counter to DD Zygarde. If for some reason Zygarde is allowed a free Dragon Dance, which on my team I find very unlikely, since Gengar can just burn it. It's if it's like a Lum Zygarde against Willow Gengar, that'd be like the only way, because Gliscor is designed to probably taunt it, Xurkitree is designed to either outspeed it or be behind a sub when it comes in against me. Ferrothorn will probably have some way to shut it down. Not sure what yet, but I'll find a way. So yeah, Scarfed Hydra is probably going to be the way against Dan. So Absolution. We definitely need Dark Pulse. Easy coverage. Definitely going to need... Now, do I want Draco or do I want Dragon Pulse? I kind of think I want Draco. I want U-Turn for sure. And I think the last move I want potentially could be Tailwind. Let's look at coverage wise for his team. Flamethrower for Scizor. Also catches Rabombi, I guess that makes the most sense actually, is Flamethrower over that. So yeah, boom. Just like that. When it comes to speed creeping, Zygarde, pretty straightforward there. It gives me 24, which I'm probably going to chuck into my defense. Reason being is for Scizor going for Bullet Punch and Zygarde going for the E-Speed. Covers both of those. Pretty straightforward set, really. If I wanted to, I could actually put a minus into my Spadef. If I wanted to ensure that Hydreigon's U-Turn does that bit more chip, especially to a Hooper. I feel like lead Hydreigon could be really, really good, but at the same time, lead Diancie just shuts down the potential for Rabombi. Like, really, really hard. So, kind of hard to pass up that opportunity. Unless I led with, like... Yeah, I mean... my team doesn't care too much. I mean, yeah, my team does care about webs, so I'd rather just shut that down straight up. But my plan, like I said, is to try and force his hand a bit, which is why I'm going to bring dual hazards Ferrothorn. Might seem like very obvious, but I feel it is necessary here. Just being able to set up hazards is really going to pressure Dan's team, and then the way that the rest of my team is designed, I can, especially with Hydreigon, I can just start picking things off quite easily in the later game. So dual hazards is going to be really, really important. What I also need to focus on now, though, is what item I'm going to bring and what I'm going to do against the Manaphy. So Manaphy, effectively, when does it get free setup? Doesn't get it against Xurkitree, that's for sure. Could get it against Diancie, but doesn't want to take a Moonblast to the face, like, ever. So there's that. Is never going to do it against Ferrothorn. It depends on what Hydreigon's locked into, I suppose. If I like have to click Draco. What I'd like to do is actually see how much I can do with Pulse, because if I can just Pulse and kill Zygarde, then yeah, I'd rather kind of do that. But what I just like Ferrothorn to be able to do is deal with Manaphy no matter what. And what it then comes down to is, do you run an Ockerberry for HP Fire Manaphy, or do you run a Lumberry for the Scald Burn? I'm thinking Spike's not going to be useful. Rocks will be, because my OCD is going at the top. Gonna need Power Whip, 100%, because I guarantee he's like, I think Ocker's not good, I think Lum's better. Lum is better here because I think that if Dan's gonna bring a Manaphy set, and this also lets me switch in against just a Manaphy in general if it tries to Scald and catch me with a burn. I'm not exactly gonna let that happen, which is important. Sizzle's becoming more of an alarming threat to this Ferrothorn. That's the problem with Ferrothorn being brought. It's designed to be the Manaphy check. However, at the same time, it's fodder for so many other of his big threats, which is something I don't like at all. I think I need to try and think outside the box. And this is how we think outside the box. We're bringing it. Because I know how Dan's going to play around this thing. He's going to bring Knockoff. So if I can activate my Gliscor's Toxicorp early, we can shut down Sizzle regardless. This thing should be able to just handle, with Haze, should be able to just handle anything. Because the thing is, you have to look at it from Dan's eyes. Like, what set can he actually bring? That's going to be the thing. So Haze, Recover, Scald. I mean, how we can bring Toxic Spikes if we wanted to. What's his poison type? Does he have one? He doesn't. T-Spike's going to be huge. So yeah, it could be Haze, Recover, Scald, T-Spikes. Allows me to basically just 1v1 Manaphy to an extent. Baby Pex can put in work too. And if it's the Carmine Manaphy that I'm expecting it to be, because that will allow it to beat Araquanid and Ferrothorn, then this just beats that. I don't think Dan brings Tail Glow with Psychic. The reason being is because if you look at my team, Psychic is only for Marini. It is literally only for Marini, and I don't think he's going to fear Marini that much. He will just think he can send in other mons to deal with it just fine, and that's cool with me. Like, if he goes into Hooper, then I've got a Diancie with good bulk that can take a hit. I've got Hydreigon that like just pressures it straight away. I've got Gliscor that can kind of pivot switch, so definitely feel like that's not too big of a pressure point. It's going to be pretty thick as well to deal with because of the Eviolite. It's going to be over 300 base HP, and then it's going to be, what's that, 330 Spadef, whereas like Gliscor, it's pretty much the same, especially defensively, as Gliscor is going to be defensively, so it's going to be a pretty important mon. I'm kind of curious actually, like I know I shouldn't be doing this calc, but Marini at level 100 with 252 and 248. Hooper's Psychic doesn't knock it out. That's stupid. That's actually kind of crazy that Hooper can't knock out a Marini, but we're not focusing on that, we are focusing on Manaphy. So Manaphy that could run Psychic, obviously if it was running Psychic at +3, would be done for, but you just have to look at the matchup, guys, and understand this. If Manaphy's running Tail Glow plus Psychic, that's 2 moves done. He needs to run either Scald or Ice Beam, because one of those, I mean, he needs to run Ice Beam because that covers Hydreigon. He could run Dazzling Gleam, but that doesn't really cover anything barring Hydreigon, so I feel like Ice Beam covers Hydreigon plus Gliscor. He could run Scald, but then if he doesn't run HP Fire, then he has an issue against Ferrothorn. And if he doesn't run Ancient Power, he has an issue against Araquanid. And I feel like Dan's going to try and play around Araquanid and those kind of mons more than he wants to play around a Marini. So because of that, I feel like Marini is going to be the more immediate check to Dan there. So Marini for sure, you are leading the line, you are our main man. The other defensive Pokemon you'll be paired with is Gliscor. I'm really tempted in this matchup. I'm very tempted by the premise of Assault Vest Zerk being an Evolve, but this set is just too good to pass up. It just doesn't have a lot of good switch-ins for it. I'm actually, as dumb as it sounds, I can't. I really want to run Signal Beam because of Shaman. Shaman could be slightly annoying. How well does Baby Pex do with Shaman? Not great. Seed Flare from Life Orb Shaman is fucking it up. So that's an issue. That's why I really want Signal Beam. Calm Mind is really important in this matchup. Dazzle isn't as important. So Signal Beam, the question will be, I guess, how much can Zerk do to a Zygarde with, like, say, a +1 Signal Beam? Or do I take the risk of dropping Thunder? I can't drop Thunderbolt. It's my stab of choice. I really can't drop that. I think this is why I kind of need to run HP Ice, because that'll cover Zygarde and that'll cover the Shaman play. If he's like an offensive Shaman that comes in, then obviously Zerk, after a Calm Mind, can just do a ton. And even if it is, say, like a bulkier variant, that's not a bulky variant, let's just say nothing in there, max HP, can still 2 a KO, he can break my sub for sure, but at the same time I am +1 Spadef, which means that Seed Flare is not even a 2 a KO, especially after Lefty's recovery, so thinking Hidden Power Ice Zerk over Gleam is looking to be a winner. That set looks really strong here actually, not a whole lot you can do about it. As much as I'd love to be able to run the Berry, he does have a lot of priority users, so it's not viable. Kind of wish this was a Scarf Gengar to an extent, I don't know. More and more tempted by it, but I think this is the appropriate set. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot for that. Everything kind of just goes in. It all makes sense in my head. Marini should be good, because if the Scizor is Bug Bite and Bullet Punch, then it can't even beat Marini at all. I can just Haze every time, kind of deal with it that way. Marini also can just take hits from everything, like even Rotom Heat he can take a hit from. And if he doesn't bring a Hazard Remover, T-Spike is going to be really annoying for his team to deal with, for sure. Also gives me a Frostite switch in to an extent, so kind of glad for that. So Baby Marini, the thing is though, now I'm kind of thinking that I need to drop Toxic on Gliscor, which sucks because it means that Rotom Heat becomes pain in the ass, but I kind of have to. I just have to. I need rocks. I can switch in Zerk. I can switch in Hydreigon if I need to. I have Diancie. They can all come in, take a hit if they need to. Even freaking little Pex can come in and take one. Like, as long as the hazards are up, then it's fine. Rotom doesn't do much. EQ's just so good universally. I could potentially run something different. But what move would universally cover Dan's team in the same way that Earthquake does? Technically I could run U-turn, as that would cover Hooper. If it's not Scarf's trying to come in, I could U-turn and kill it. And after I taunt Scizor, then I could U-turn out as he tries to hard swap potentially. So maybe that's better, because at least it gives me a way to chip the Rotom and gives me an exit strategy. Sure, why not? So that's been 40 minutes, and this is the team that I've settled on. So basic premise of this team, I guess, is that, you know, Baby Pex can 1v1 Manaphy, especially the Manaphy that I'm expecting to bring, more or less, is the reason why Baby Pex is here. It can also just come in against a lot of his team, take hits. If it's a fat Shaman, then I can kind of come in against it, and with T-Spikes kind of 1v1 it, so that's kind of cool. Gliscor just walls half of his team, which is great again. Diancie does Diancie things, especially with the Diamond Storm being able to boost it up to a point where Sizzle can't knock it out. That's cool. Hydreigon, just a standard Scarf set really. Being scarfed also off the ground for those webs is super important here. Also, the fun thing about this Hex set is that, see, I'm kind of tossing up between, I think I actually might want Toxic over T-Spikes. No, because I can just, the Rabombi will get poisoned by T-Spikes, it's fine. This can 1v1 Rabombi if it's a Quiver set, so that's kind of nice. I like that a lot, actually. Baby Pex is the GOAT. So yeah, Zerk, I'm still a bit 50-50 on this set. Whether I think Carmine is the right move to have, or whether I think Tail Glow is the right move to have, is the contentious point here. My theory is if Rotom comes in and clicks Overheat, and I can just, but see, if I Tail Glow, then things just die. He has to, like, I Tail Glow as he probably tries to swap out or something, and then I can just go in. Is it better maybe than running a screen? Choices. Do I run sub or do I run screen? Because dual screen Zerk again is just one of those kind of frustrating sets for Dan to deal with. It will allow a lot of my mons to live a lot of hits. And as tempting as this is, I think I will go with that. Probably with these two moves, except instead of Thunderbolt now, it will be Volt Switch for momentum. And it will be a Light Clay. And yeah, now it's probably just going to be that investment into defense, because now I can potentially live a hit from the Zygarde. So that's pretty cool. So dual screen Zerk makes this return. Pretty hyped about that. To be honest, kind of tempted to add more bulk into it, as it doesn't really need the offensive capability anymore. This was the last thing I was going to touch on actually, because I'm happy with the Gengar set. I think it's really solid, just breaks his team apart. So does Hydra, so does Diancie. All three of those are just, you know, matches made in heaven. Shibata being able to get T-Spikes is going to be huge. Gliscor just being Gliscor is massive. I'm starting to think more and more on Diancie I don't want Protect. I'm starting to think I want Rocks instead, because I just really want Toxic on Gliscor. You have no idea how much I want Toxic and Earthquake as the combo, because I just know that it's the best combo for him. Yep. Out of sight, out of mind. Just need that sorted real quick. The Zerk set, I may just even chuck in like 240 HP. And then, how much special attack does Zerk even need to maybe like, say, fuck up a Zygarde? So let's say he just brought standard offensive. HPI, that's a +1. Let's remove the +1. Let's remove the special attack investment. Let's assume that Zerk's under a Reflect with 240 HP. that's under reflect. That's adamant Zygarde damage. So yeah, like at that point, Zygarde can come in, but I do outspeed adamant with the Zerg set, which is good because it forces Zygarde then I guess to be jolly, which is nice. Means less damage if he's trying to outspeed Circuitry, which I mean he kind of has to force himself to do in this situation. That means that Arrows is only a 17.2% chance, which is pretty nice. Again, what I could also do is just put a bunch of this into physical defense. Like that could be 252 in there, to be perfectly honest with you. And that means that Arrows isn't even a 2-hit KO from Jolly, so that's pretty tempting there. It's like 252. Well, I could design it in a way with the HP investment as well, to where Arrows from Jolly Zygarde is not a 2-hit KO. I might as well just do that now. So 252. How much investment? 200, 192. Looks like it's gonna be 192, maybe 188, 184. 80 is too much, so 184. And then whatever's left, I'll chuck into Spadef, I suppose. So 184 in there means I live Zygarde. 92 in there, although I'd probably rather design it maybe to be able to live it after rocks. So maybe I'll chuck the 92 into HP just to play it safe. We'll do 180 and 96. Because like this also helps out Baby Pegs too, helps out the entire team. Dual Screen Zerk is a man of the people, for sure. And it's going to be really annoying for Dan to deal with, I think, in this matchup. So we tossed, we turned, we came up with this team. Definitely liking it a lot. The only mon I'm a bit like meh on is Gengar. I understand it can break Dan's team, but it just doesn't excite me like the rest of my mons do. I'm actually thinking I'm going to drop it for that Necrozma set that I was planning, because being able to get up dual screens and then having Necrozma just set up and win seems pretty tempting. Psyche MZ again just looks so strong. Rock Polish with Photon Geyser again just should blitz through, Heat Wave and Signal Beam. Doesn't have a lot for that at all. Not at all. So all I really need to kind of do with this Necrozma is I've got two options. One, I can design its speed in a way to counter whatever I think will be his fastest Scarfed mon, which I guess could be... I could design it in a way to potentially counteract... I'm going to maybe EV it to counteract Adamant Kabutops in Rain. So Kabutops in Rain, if it is Adamant Swift Swim, hits that. So 260 speed. That sucks. What would he need to speed creep with Kabutops? Because I could maybe try and creep that. Because I'm just not outspeeding Kabutops there. Kabutops, if it is going to be that set, needs to outspeed my fastest potential Scarf mon, which would be Scarfed Gengar. So what is Gengar hitting? With a Scarf, he can afford to run a bit less speed, but he also doesn't want to run like too little to where he's not creeping other mons on my team. So it's a tough choice. It is a tough choice with what I do with this Necrozma. I think I have to ensure that I outspeed Kabutops in Rain. So to ensure I outspeed Adamant, I am going to run 260 speed. Not ideal, but I'm going to do it. That leaves 84 to chuck into my physical defense, which will be a lie. I think my HP is better because I can set up on more things potentially, so I'm going to chuck 80 in there, 4 in here, and that's the moveset. Single Beam obviously bopping the Hooper, Photon Guys are kind of bopping everything, and Heat Wave does cover the Scizor. So yeah, that's the basic team now. It makes a lot more sense, I think. Having the hazards there, having a really nice solid wall core you can put in the work. So that's going to do it. 50 minutes that took. So you kind of sat here with me, you saw the process. Obviously a lot of the team chopped and changed around, but I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. I have obviously the secondary check now to things like Manaphy and whatnot if I need it. It does beg the question of do I need Pex, but I'm going to keep maybe Pex because it's just such an important mon in this matchup for sure. Gliscor, like that core is going to be so annoying for Dan to deal with, I hope. Diancie getting up rocks is going to be huge. If I can lead with Diancie and he leads with Rabombi and I can just get up rocks turn 1, I don't even care if he HP steals me. That's the only thing I want to check, is to make sure that Rabombi can't just knock me out turn 1 with HP steal. Because if I need to put in defensive investment for that, I will. It's not a question of will I, won't I will. So let's have a look at how much Rabombi's hidden power steal can do to me. If he's timid sash, he can't knock me out. And if he runs modest, he doesn't outspeed. So should I be fearful of life or bleed? No. There's no way he runs life or bleed. And modest doesn't outspeed me. So modest is still a roll. So no, I'm not going to worry about it. If he clicks it, I can live it. Whatever, we're done here. This has been a very live team building kind of thing. I guess I just wanted to do this to show you guys that although my heart may not be in the mons as much, I can still build some pretty dank teams. So the basic premise of this team is get up screens with Zerk. Things like Diancie and Hydreigon can clear the path, but mainly the premise would be my Necrozma can kind of just clean. Really tempted to run multiple setup, like running Carmine too, but it's not worth it. Everything can kind of get worn down, so probably just put some work, and the screens are also more designed so that these guys can come in, get a bit of, like not taking much damage, but also these two can just come in and wall the majority of Dan's team. So yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, like, comment, all that good shit, and we're going to hopefully see Baby Pex put in work. It's a bird. I'm out this bit.